Hey, it's Liam. Today is Saturday, February 12th, and I haven't recorded a vlog in a few weeks. Really just haven't been in the mood. Winter it just drags on, but when I'm down here tonight, this is actually my bedroom. Well, part of it. I mean, you can see the reflection in the slider of the rest of it. And so I bought my house 6 years ago last week, which doesn't really have any bearing on anything. But the first things I did was to tackle this space. Had a smell, had carpeting, they had dogs, you know. So I ripped it all out and it was glued to the floor. It was gross. So, I mean, I hemmed and hawed and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I installed this floor. I installed it myself. And then I had to uninstall it because it's a floating floor and this floor is concrete under it and it's uneven. So wherever it dipped, the boards would just kind of coast over it, and then you step on this kind of suspended interlocking plank and it would go kaboom. So I had to buy concrete leveler, which sort of leveled it. So like if the floor went like this and then rose up not quite so high, it leveled it to down here. So it kind of went down and then flat. In fact, the spot that I'm sitting on is one of those flat spots where there was kind of like a rim, this low rim over here. But over here to my left, well, towards the camera, under the camera, there's a high spot. So it kind of pitches down and then it's like flat with the center of the earth. And then it pitches off again. And eventually I was like, oh, that's good enough. So I installed the floor and I had some fun with it. I used 2 different colored planks, which interlock with each other, which isn't always the case, but I got lucky. And so I have these little border stripes here, and then on the other side too. There's a little wall that juts into the room, like right here. It's a really long room, and there's a beam through it, and it felt like it was 2 rooms. So by doing the floor that way, it felt like 1 room. So it turned, I was really happy with it. And I also built, the wall that you see over there, that's under the stairs, and there's like this triangle under it. And I was like, what am I going to do about this triangle? It's like a triangle in the room, like this triangle wall. So I just walled up over it, made another closet. You can see the door there. You can see the stripes right there as well. And then I put the room back together and I moved all my stuff in it. I painted it, I built that step. Underneath that's just this little piece of concrete that the carpeting just went boop, boop, nothing. So I was like, I want to be able to stand on this. Stand at the slider instead of like, So I built that step, built it out, this oak flooring, glued it all together, sanded it up. It turned out almost the color of the stripes, for which I was surprised. I thought it looked like it was gonna come across like really, really dark, but came out pretty good. And I was happy with it, very happy with it. And like in 6 years, 5.5 or so, that this room would be a lot more cluttered. And until a couple days ago, it was, because we had a blizzard, as I mentioned. Kind of like blizzed out, we didn't really get a lot here, but we did get a lot of weird, like wind-shaped snow here. The wind kind of carved the snow, so we didn't get like 2 feet. We got like half a foot, and it was like weird, like hard snow. It was strange. And then a week later, last weekend, we got an ice storm, which is, worrying to whoever wherever, whenever, those can be, bring down trees, they can bring down, rip gutters off your houses, all sorts of scary stuff. But again, we lucked out, but it did make the yard very strange. Like, it looked like the yard was covered with snow still, but you could walk on it. And not like walk on it and just like kind of go crunch a little bit. Like you could walk on it and look back, and it doesn't look like you walked on it at all. It was just solid ice. Like, well, if you went to walk, if you're foolish enough to try to walk on it and didn't fall down and break something, you could look back and see that there were no marks. So it was like indestructible. And then, so today's Saturday, between Monday and Tuesday, we had a rainstorm. And I went to bed kind of afraid of what the radar forecast looked like over us. I mean, we lucked out, but odds don't care about how lucky you've been. And there's other parts of this basement where there's like because this is like the level that walks out into the backyard. I checked, there's a pit with a drain clean out, perfectly dry. In the area, if there was any wetness, I'd have been able to smell it. And I woke up the next day and I went walking across this floor, and it started making sounds that I didn't recognize anymore. Because just outside that door, it wasn't like there was a lake, but there was just enough water to get some water in here. And just that little bit of water came in and it wicked through not the entire length of the room, but basically from there to where I'm sitting. And it looks fine, but what you can't see is that every seam is puckered. And because this is just a cardboard product, the edges are very absorbent. And the edges, I mean, it's shiny on top, but it's just paper underneath. So there is some kind of that barrier, vapor barrier, water barrier, whatever, that you put down underneath it. But I've been walking on it for 6 years, so that's not indestructible. So if any water got in, I'm gonna have to rip all of this out. This is why the room looks so clear. All of it's gonna get ripped out. Today I was in, this week I was just kind of in like, I don't know, just like this fog. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, my first thought was, I gotta file an insurance claim. Maybe I should take some photos. And then, don't even get me started about insurance. Like, you pay for it, but it's a battle to use it, and God forbid you use it, you end up paying for having used it for like basically the rest of your life. So there's no way that I'm gonna do an insurance claim, because I'll go postal if I have to. So everything I installed, I'm not gonna rip down the wall, but the step actually sits on the floor, and it's part of the things that actually hold it down, because the floor actually dips a lot right there. And although I put concrete leveler in, the floor was still kind of like ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. So when I put the step in, it presses down on it and holds the floor in place. When I rip this out, it won't be sitting on the concrete. So, and the underside of that has water in it. So I've ripped out some floorboards, not like mop boards, like right there. And the sheetrock's fine, I think. The lowest point in the room is the farthest corner behind that closet. I have a dehumidifier in there, which is not running at the moment, otherwise you'd hear it. It's awful. It doesn't run at night, but the smell has started to become noticeable. It's kind of like this sickly sweet smell right now, which will probably just get foul. So either tonight, well, probably not tonight, but tomorrow I'm probably going to start ripping floorboards out of that closet and, start peeling it back. I'm just gutted. My dad's passed away, and it was about a year after I bought my house, and he was proud of me, the stuff that he was doing. He told me, and it's one of those things that someone tells you that you don't forget, that conversation that we had about it. So I'm kind of gutted that I have to rip it out. But you want to talk about silver linings. I mean, it wasn't like the water was 2 inches across the floor. There was no water on top of the floor at all. The only reason I could tell that something was wrong was because in this kind of like place where it's not always pressed against the floor, it kind of went squish, squish, like a crinkling sound. Like it was the plastic vapor barrier, underneath that vapor barrier, moisture barrier, that was crinkling. Someone who I work with who lives a couple towns away got hit with the same rainstorm. Her experience involved sump pumps. So I was like, okay, not so bad. I didn't lose anything in here. I mean, I had a little throw rug at the end, not throw rug, but those rubber back things. And it was ancient. I had it before I moved here. It was just there to catch the debris if I came in from the backyard, just clean my feet off so I didn't get across the floor and track it through the room. But that, because it was sitting on the seams of everything, it just whipped up the water and I just opened the door and I tossed it out and went in the trench. I didn't lose anything except the floor. So I gotta remember that. And silver linings, maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe, so I've got a heating unit there. This door goes to the bathroom and there's ceramic tile in there. There's no water anywhere else. Just right here. So there's no water there's no water in the bathroom. There's no water on the floor of the bathroom. There's no water anywhere else. Just check the pit with the drain cleaner. There's nothing in that still. But the bathroom has like this weird heating unit in it. And it doesn't heat the room. And it's got ceramic tile directly on the concrete floor, which, it's a room where you're often barefoot in. Yeah, so in the winter, it's pretty cold. And in the summer, it's nice and cold. And then, you can't see, that's my bed in the reflection. And behind it, there's a heat register. And so maybe what I should do is have these disconnected and removed and have in certain places radiant floor heating put in. And then ceramic tile. So today I went to Floor and Decor. Also I went to Lowe's and Home Depot. And lots of things to look at, and a lot of things look like charred, recycled, like that's the image on the planks, the porcelain planks now, so I'll think about it. But in the meantime, once I start ripping this floor out, my bed's right there. I'm gonna be sleeping in this room when I have that, I don't know. I have another room, another room in this house that has a bed in it. I don't really want to recamp and go over there. But, if I have to, I have to. It's just not something that I really, I talk about being prepared for storms and whatever. And even if I had known, the snow's gone now. It's been a couple days of really, really hot weather up here and it's gone. But I wouldn't have been able to hack into it. It was solid ice. It's that white ice that just, you hit it with an ice chopper and it just makes this little chip in it. And there's also water flowing and moving and hindsight, right? Hindsight. So maybe it's an opportunity. It's going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to be a couple $1,000. I'm sure as hell not going to do it myself. I'm going to have someone else do it, which is another, how do you get someone else to do it? I don't know. I have to pick out what kind of floor. I want to do something with, I do like what I did with the design here. Am I going to do exactly the same thing but with ceramic tile? Maybe I will. I'm certainly going to get new mop boards. These are, the floor trim, because they're just crap. I reused them, the ones that were here originally, because they were already cut to length. I didn't have to buy new ones, but they're dull as hell. And they don't go with the rest of the house, so. Not that you can see the rest of the house from here. But it's a project that I didn't want to do. Didn't want to blow the money on it. Certainly didn't want to have to spend a lot of money and have basically the same thing all over, because I was happy with what I had. So I'm kind of in a foul mood. about it. It doesn't sound like I'm in a foul mood, but I'm really in a foul mood. I tried to use the other camera that I bought months ago, and it's just so cryptic and useless that I just wanted to smash it into a million pieces if I hadn't paid a lot of money for it. I'm in a real foul mood. Now, I don't think it has to do with the floor or the camera or the stuff from work being really crap. I mean, we're in the end of it now. It's going to get better. But and even this winter, we haven't had a lot of snow. We haven't had a lot of cold, and I just blast the heat in the house, and I'm not cold like I was last winter. I just think today, for instance, today was the warmest day of the winter. It was in the 50s today, which in New England in early February. Well, is it? No, it's not mid-February. It's unheard of, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a beautiful day." It was not a beautiful day. It was overcast, just enough all day long that it felt like once you got up, it felt like it was at the end of a long day already. And I was like, I have to go to freaking Floor in the Core now and walk through a warehouse of flooring that I'm really kind of bitter about. It was just not a good recipe for success today. Everything was just kind of smeared and glary, and I'm just tired of the sun being really low, and I'm tired of having to sit in the sun, and when there's not sun to sit in, it's I'm just tired of winter, and I'm tired of winters. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's snowy or whatever. I'm just tired of the short days that we have up here. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm ready for it to be spring. I'm ready to be real spring, not fake spring right now. Today was warm, but the trees looked dead, and everything was melting and dirty. Thank you for listening to my rant and listening about my problems. I know they could be worse. Middle-class suburban problems, right, people? So, thank you for listening. This is Liam from, holy shit. 17 minutes. This is going to be the longest update ever. Oh, well, I'm going to upload it. The hell with it. Thank you for watching. This is Liam from Base Stated.